Hello, welcome and well done for finding us. We're recording this live from Scotland as an audio podcast, but also as a video for our YouTube channel as well, so feel free to check us out over there as well. I'm Simon, I'm here with my good friends and co-host Jimmy D and Brucey. Today is the 21st of July 2021, and this is TheBoorach. In 2021, bored of lockdown, three friends began producing a podcast. Today, still going strong, they continue to talk nonsense. If you're having trouble sleeping, and if you can find it, maybe you should listen to TheBoorach. Well, good evening, boys. Good to be back.
Si, welcome back. Welcome back after your holiday. How was it? You enjoy? You're refreshed? Full of...
refreshed and suntanned and ready to go.
Loving it. I heard you were waiting outside of shops quite a lot, though.
I'm very good at waiting outside shops, actually.
You are a past master, I heard. Yeah.
Thank God you're back, sir. Thank God you're back. Actually, the guy we had last week.
Yeah. To be fair, I did my best, Si. You listened to it, you know. I did my best.
It's great to be back to the Football Focus podcast.
Yes. For our listeners for this week's podcast, there'll probably be a lot less football.
No, it was good fun, and I'm glad we're now sponsored by Bookster.
Yes,
so that's good.
That was good. I was pleased to hear that as well. I don't know if anyone sent the invoice to Robin yet for the sponsorship money, but if we haven't, we should very soon.
The amount of plugs he got in there, so no, we'll do that.
I don't know why you're wasting your time. Rob doesn't listen to it anyway, so...
No, I know. We had to tell him what the format was. You've known us since high school. You could at least listen to the podcast out of duty, if nothing else.
At the moment, all listeners are valuable, so we need to get them listening.
And if anyone would like to sponsor us, we could do with more of these pull-up backgrounds that Si's got in his video here. You know, there's we're lacking a couple on the other two
We'll get there.
hosts tonight.
On a sort of slightly, serious point though, if anyone is listening to us on iTunes, it would be great if you have a moment to leave a hopefully positive review for us, because I believe the iTunes rankings are based on reviews. So if anyone is and can, it'd be great if they could.
How could it be anything but positive, Si?
Well, we'll take week 7 off the agenda.
We should just try delete that.
No, it's great. I really enjoyed it. So well done, and thank you, James, for taking on the hosting duties. So I guess we're back to the OG cast, as they say. What's on your mind? That's our first section. So, Brucey, how about what's on your mind this week?
Well, boys, I've tried to mention it every week, obviously, to try and drive ticket sales. But what is absolutely filling my mind at the moment is 3 weeks on Thursday, I'm about to open a Fringe show, which is a kind of brand new, sort of almost half musical new play at Tynecastle Park, and so rehearsals got underway this week, and so I'm just getting ready for that. So that is filling my mind.
What's that called?
So it's called Sweet FA, Jim. And it's based on...
Sweet FA,
I know, Sweet FA. It's a nice couple of double meanings in there. It's, for those that know, it's a sort of sister piece, if you like, to A War of Two Halves, which was the piece I did at Hearts a couple of years ago. And this particular story is about the women's factory football teams from the First World War and how popular the women's game got. And at one time, in around about kind of 1920, women's football was arguably more popular than the men's game, and then subsequently, spoiler alert, it was banned by the football authorities, and so they had a sort of 50-year hiatus.
Taking too much money away from the men's game, and they weren't getting the money, were they? Was it that to do with that?
Spoken like a true SFA official, Jimmy. Well, I mean, it's no, because the women were actually, all the money that from their games was being raised for military charities for the war effort at the time. So, so they were essentially playing kind of charity games, and that was what was driving the audience, and it was a kind of fundraising drive, partly.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and that's what started the popularity. And then it got more and more kind of popular as it kind of went along, and then the FA suddenly went, oh, hold on, this is huge. And the sort of big statistic is that on about Boxing Day, Christmas Eve of 1920, there was 53,000 folk went to a women's game at Goodison Park in Liverpool. Allegedly, 15,000 folk turned away because it was so popular from the big women's game at the time, women's team at the time. Sorry. And then the men's FA Cup final in 2021 only had 51,000 at it. So it just goes to show you the sort of scale of what was happening in 1920.
So when you're going around Tynecastle, then I mean, I'm imagining if I come along, I'm sitting in the stands, and you're kind of you've set up something on the pitch, and you're kind of dancing around the pitch, or singing, or acting. I don't know if you're doing all three things on the pitch, but is that kind of how it is, or do you kind of move around the stadium and do different bits in different areas to set the scenes, or?
Yeah, I mean that's certainly what we did in the War of Two Halves, and we wanted to do that this time as well with Sweet FA, but unfortunately because of the kind of COVID rules, we've had to kind of set it in one place. And just should do a wee plug for a brilliant company called ACS Scaffolding, who have basically sponsored the show and are going to build a scaffolding stage for us in the lower half of the main stand at Tynecastle, and then the audience will sit in the kind of upper half of the stand. So it allows us to sort of put it on. It's this COVID kind of I never know what word to use after that, but it's kind of COVID compliant, maybe. As possible outside, undercover, plenty of fresh air, and plenty of seats to kind of spread out and kind of,
So it doesn't matter if it's raining. It's not like an open air event or anything like that.
No, I mean, it is a stadium, so it is open-sided. So if the wind's blowing the wrong way, you're going to get a.
But if the rain's coming straight down, you'll get some protection, right? Okay, it's probably about as good as you could get actually for holding a show during these times, isn't it? Because you're supposed to open all the windows and keep distance, and a football stadium is perfect for that sort of thing. So, it kind of lends itself to that, which is great.
Yeah, good. So it's an all-female cast, Bruce?
Sorry, Si. Can you say that again?
Oh. It's an all-female cast then for the show.
Yeah, it's an all-female cast of 9. Actually, we've got 9 performers who take on the various roles. Nearly a whole football team. And
I was going to say, do you not need 11?
I know. It's just a couple too many in terms of trying to pay the bills, because it's all done. We do all through ticket sales. So it's only driven through ticket sales. So that's Cast 7. It's all about the women's teams and just trying to kind of tell that story and, as I say, be a sort of companion piece to the War of Two Halves.
Yeah, because that was the one you did a couple of years ago around, and you ran it for 2 years, I think, at Tynecastle, didn't you? And it was about the men that had to go off to war, and almost the whole Hearts team got killed or something. Is that right? Fairly sure that's right. Sorry, I'm remembering that right. I mean,
yes, that's right. I think so, James. Yes, we've lost Brucey.
He's okay. He's back. He's back.
Sorry, I don't know what's going on. It's internet joy tonight. Yes, great. 2 years for a War to Halves is what you're saying, is that right?
Yeah. And it was about the essentially the Hearts team that played that year. They all had to go out to war, and a lot of them got killed out in the First World War and never came back. Is that right?
Yeah,
that's kind of what I was remembering from it.
Yeah. That's a true story of the Hearts team that were top of the league at the time, and then tragically, obviously, war intervened, and things took a different course.
So when is this show on, Brucey?
So we open on the 5th of August. That's the previews that weekend. So 5th, 6th and 7th is previews. Then there's a sort of press night on the Saturday the 7th, and we're hoping to get sort of some of the dignitaries along from Hearts and
nice.
That kind of stuff. So that's the sort of official first night, if you like, and then we run right through to the 30th of August, and you can get tickets from edfringe.com, Sweet FA, or you can get them from the official Heart of Midlothian FC website. And do come along, because it's 2 days in rehearsals.
Or from
we've laughed, we've cried. It's honestly the women in it are absolutely brilliant. They're so good. So I think it's going to be
good,
great. But then obviously I'm biased.
A little bit.
And if you don't manage to get a ticket, you can get it from a tout outside, I imagine. Is that right?
Yeah.
I'm sure.
I've got some tickets, Si. I can tout you if you need any.
Lovely.
So, but it's for those not involved in the theatre world like you guys are and have put on shows year in year out. I think it's worth noting. People aren't thinking about the Fringe at the moment because the Fringe is in August, right? But you're already, every day, every couple of days, whatever. You're full time thinking, rehearsing. You're setting up stages. You're getting scaffolding up. I mean, these things start so much before the actual show is live. I don't think people appreciate just how much work and how much prep goes into a lot of these things, Brucey. And I think it's kind of hopefully highlighting that to people on here that you are absolutely slammed with this right now, and you've not even had the first night yet.
No. It's been. Arguably since probably 2019 in the making. In terms of writing, meeting, we've done some workshops with some of the former students from Dundee College came to work with us. Endless Zoom calls, rewrites going back and forward. Paul Beeson and Tim Barrow, who you guys know, are the writers, and they've done an absolutely sterling job at bringing together a really brilliant script. But yeah, it's a massive thing, and also given what's been going on with COVID, it's been so uncertain, and it was only 2 weeks ago we kind of got the green light to do it. So to suddenly try and throw a show together when all the various elements of it is it's a big deal, and it's busy time.
So the next time somebody comes to you and complains about the price of a show ticket, Brucey, what do you say to them?
Well, I get it. It's an expensive.
Oh,
hobby.
come on! I thought you were going to say to them, just sod off, you buggers.
Well, I've got a budget too, and I've got to go and decide what I go and see. But I suppose, there's a whole debate in that, Jimmy, about subsidised theatre and all that. But yeah, the tickets are expensive because that's what it costs to put on. It's
correct. That's what I'm kind of getting at. And it's like they've given up so many weeks. They've got a 3-week run, but that's 6, 8, 10 weeks of their life that they've given up to do that 3-week run. So they've
learning
got to
lines
they've
at
got
night
to be
and
and all the other time outside that, exactly.
It's a massive.
Try to organise it all.
And for actors as well, it's their only potentially. That for these actors, this will be their only income from acting. Well, if you include obviously pandemic-wise, for 2 years. So and that's it. That's all they're going. So they have to subsidise their jobs with bar jobs and all that kind of stuff. So they need to be paid well for what they're doing, and costs money. Things which are sort of a quality or expensive are that for a reason. And unless you get a lot of subsidy from somewhere, but who's paying for that? Ticket prices are high, unfortunately.
I think it's come to be expected that the Fringe and festival tickets are expensive, across the board, really. So you don't get a cheap show anymore, I don't think. But good.
Not so much.
I hope it.
We're quite lucky in that the venue are brilliantly supportive, and we're not paying the sort of exorbitant fees that maybe some of these bigger venues are taking. Won't name them, but you know who I'm talking about. So that actually the cost is a real true reflection in some ways of what's going on, because Hearts are they don't give us it for free. Don't get me wrong, but actually we're probably paying less in some ways than the big venues are charging.
So you might need to crack up your microphone a wee bit. You're just awfully quiet there. Yeah, not your normal, deep dulcet tones. You're just a little bit mousy in the background.
Well, I don't want to deny the listeners anything.
No, you don't. Not your silky tones.
No.
Sorry.
Right.
Just
Good.
A little bit.
Brucey, we'll hear more about it as the weeks go on, and the show happens and all that stuff. So good luck with that so far. Jim, have you got anything on your mind this week?
Jim? You haven't called me Jim.
Jim, I know. I thought I'd mix up a bit.
I know.
Jimmy D.
Jeez. Wow.
I don't know what's going on. It's a new me.
Yeah. Do you know, there has been something on my mind, Si, okay? And it's an unusual topic. And I'm going to bring it up.
Not for you, I'm sure. Go on.
And it's It is. And this is the point. It's unusual for everybody. And it's pants, right? Particularly men's pants, right? Now, we wear, boxers, generally speaking, maybe Y-fronts, Brucey, whatever it is that you kind of go for, the little tighty whities, or whether you go for a nice loose boxer, or whether you put on, a trunks, some boxers, trunks. And you kind of got your style, and you kind of stick with it, right? And you've probably worn the same underpants for the last 10, 15 years, the same type. You kind of go and you just buy different colours. Sorry?
Days. Sorry, I thought years. I see what you meant. Sorry, I thought.
Oh, not wearing them days
there.
on it. I'm just saying the same type for days. Yeah, right. Okay. And I recently decided to try something new, because I saw an advert for pants made from bamboo. All right, bamboo fibers, and I just thought, what? And they're for the slightly chunkier leg, which I have too. And I thought, do you know what? I'll give it a go. And
Surely
I've never tried.
Okay.
I've never tried a different pair of underpants, and I thought I'll give it a go. They were reasonably expensive, but I'll give it a go. You've probably seen the adverts on the telly. I won't say who it is, but I tried them, and do you know what? Revolutionary. They were so comfortable. They've got a lovely little pocket at the front that just keeps your bits separated, and they don't ride up. They are really breathable. In this hot weather, we have been having some hot weather recently. Honestly, no Betty Swallocks down there. Telling you, it is absolutely dry as a bone. You just can't. Revolutionary. And I went out after buying a few of these pairs, right? And I went out and I bought 10 more, and then I bought 4 more. And almost my entire pants drawer is now changed. And how often do you do that? You don't do that. Nobody does that. Nobody changes the type of underwear they wear. I did. You should. It is revolutionary. And that's on my mind's eye, because I'm that impressed with a change of pants.
If you're aiming to try and get us some sponsorship, James, you are maybe heading in the right direction.
Well, they should. If they're listening, step 1, you can sponsor us anytime you like.
Bamboo
Simon,
pants,
we,
right?
Bamboo pants.
Can we retrospectively add in a sort of, kind of content warning or something for that wee section? There's a few images in there that
It could have been. That could have been a
some
lot
recovering
worse.
from.
I suspect I'll edit that section out, Bruce. To be honest.
Fair enough.
Would you like to see them for the YouTube viewers? I could show you them. That would need an X rating. If I got them out.
That would.
Aye.
Let's not do that.
I nearly did it there. I nearly did it there, but I thought I better not.
Right, bamboo pants. Well, James, I didn't expect that tonight, but you know, I don't know what to say. Basically,
it's been on my mind's eye. I just needed to tell you. I need to get it off my chest and other areas.
Yeah, good. Okay, right. Well, I think we should move on because time is pushing on. I was wondering this week if the wearing of masks that we've done over the last sort of 18 months or so has taken away the impact from bank robbers. Because we're used to seeing them now,
particular
aren't we?
reason? Are you planning
Hashtag,
something?
Hashtag asking for a friend.
So are you?
But I mean, when you go in, 18 months ago, if somebody walked into a bank with a mask on, you'd be pretty, be pretty worried about it. I wonder if bank robbers are having the same impact today.
So you're saying that because robbers wear masks, now we wear masks, it's become more normalised. And so now, if robbers go in with masks on, people are going to go, yeah, so what? He's wearing a mask. And then all of a sudden, and so they'll get that extra 5 or 10 steps before somebody realises something's gone wrong and they need to raise the alarm.
Well, I mean, I don't know the practicalities of how a bank robbery sort of works.
Yeah,
I guess.
sure.
But
Hashtag
I'm assuming, the person behind the till would probably not do an immediate double take that they would have done before. They'd be sort of, What did you say?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
you think about some strange stuff, Si.
Isn't the
I've
motorcycle
got a lot of time in my
helmet
hands in the car.
item of choice? Isn't that? Didn't you say a motorcycle helmet?
What's that? Sorry, a motorbike helmet. Yeah, that's right.
Item of choice for your bank robber. Hashtag asking
That's
for a friend.
partly to do with the getaway vehicle, isn't it? That's so they can just run outside and jump on a motorbike and run it and zoom off. Stockings. What happened to good old stockings? So,
Well, that's true.
you know, stocking over your head. I don't know.
I don't know either. I suspect probably in a real life situation, the gun is probably what gives them the upper hand. If they
It's
have
likely
one.
to be. It's likely to be.
But
I think
I
Zorro,
just, you know.
Zorro would probably not have to change much, to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
He would go in and go, oh, wrong half, and then he'd put the bottom half on of the mask, and then you wouldn't have any clue who he was. But
I mean,
because he's just
yeah.
got to be.
On the inverse of that, I guess, children who are perhaps scared of doctors or dentists or whatever, maybe
With a
they're now
mask on.
finding it
Yeah.
easier to,
Yeah,
be treated
Silver
because
lining?
they're used to masks. Yeah.
silver lining
So
and
I
all
don't
that
know.
side. Yeah, you might be right.
Well,
It's a long drive up from York, you know, lots on my mind.
It is a long drive. A long time waiting outside shops in Yorkshire, was it? A lot of time.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Okay.
A long time.
Good,
Anyway,
good.
good to be back. Right, let's move on. I think it's time for the quiz, boys. How about that? Let's do the
Ooh.
weekly Scottish quiz.
I'm looking forward to this.
So this week, I'm going to be quizmaster.
That's why I'm
never done
looking
it
forward
before.
to it.
All
Yep.
right. And we're going to speed up a little bit by reducing the questions. I'm going to give you 5 questions each, and we'll
Okay.
see who gets the most out of those 5. If it's a draw at the end, I do have a bit of a tiebreaker question, so we can have a winner.
We should run a poll on Twitter or Facebook, Si, if you wouldn't mind. Did people enjoy the half-hour 14-question quiz last week, and should we introduce it again? Because I think that went down really well, and it didn't take up too much time.
Don't forget
Well,
Robin's
it was
bonus
only about-
question as well from last week.
Oh yeah,
Wasn't it?
15-question quiz,
15 sports questions.
sports questions.
You know, a 30-minute quiz and a 59-minute show is
yeah,
pretty good
yeah.
going. But this will be quicker, so let's crack on, shall we? Who wants to go first, Bruce or James?
Me.
James. Right, okay, James. Here we go then. So, general Scottish questions. Question number 1. Where did President Eisenhower of the United States have a residence in Scotland? Was it Culzean Castle, Glamis Castle, Holyrood Palace, or Edinburgh Castle?
I'm going to go Culzean Castle.
You're going to go Culzean Castle, and you would be correct with that. Well done. Question 2. Which famous US novel based its title from a poem by Robert Burns? Now, we may have had this one already in the past. Was it Catcher in the Rye, Catch-22, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, or The Grapes of Wrath?
What was the question?
Which famous US novel based its title from a poem by Robert Burns?
Oh, okay.
So is it Catcher in the Rye, Catch-22, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, or The Grapes of Wrath?
I don't know. I'm going to go Catcher in the Rye.
Well, if you didn't know, that was a good guess. Well done. Catcher in the Rye is correct. By
Only because
J.D.
Rye was a
Salinger.
thing here.
Well done. All right, question 3. Which castle is said to be one of Scotland's most haunted? Is it Fyvie Castle near Aberdeen, Glamis Castle in Angus, Brodick Castle on the Isle of Arran, or Island Donan Castle in the Scottish Highlands?
It's not Elan Donnan. I went there recently, if you'd listened to the last podcast. I'm going to go for Fyvie Castle in Aberdeenshire.
Fyvie Castle, Aberdeenshire. Unfortunately, James, you would be wrong in that answer. The correct answer is Glamis Castle. It's supposed to be.
Is it
one of the most
Glamis, isn't it?
haunted
I wouldn't
in
have guessed
Scotland.
Glamis. I would have guessed the
apparently
other
so.
one if I was taking another guess.
So, question 4. Now, this is a football-based question here, James.
Ooh.
The first ever Scotland football team was made up entirely of players from which club? Was it Inverness Caledonian Thistle, Queen's Park, Heart of Midlothian, or Motherwell?
I'm going to go Queen's Park.
Bruce, do you think that's right or wrong?
I know it's right. It's the correct answer.
You're correct. That's right.
Is that because they used to play at Hampden?
Yeah, it's all linked, but yes, essentially that was the formation.
That was
of
their
the,
home, their home stadium, wasn't it?
Right. So question 5 then, James. Towards the end of the Victorian era, Dundee was famous for its 3 J's.
You know, I worked in Dundee for like 10 years.
Lucky you got this question then. What are the 3 J's?
Jute, jam, and journalism. I worked for DC Thompson as well.
Correct. Right, James. Out of 5 questions, you got 4 correct. So that's
It's a high bar.
Well done.
That's a high bar, Brucey.
Bar.
I would have got 4 there as well. Yeah.
You would have got 4 there as well, right? So your 5 questions now. Let's see how you get on. Slains Castle in Aberdeenshire is said to have inspired which tale of horror? Was it Frankenstein, Dracula, The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, or The Fall of the House of Usher?
I know.
Oh, see, I don't know this one.
I know.
I'm going to say Jekyll and Hyde.
I would have said Dracula.
I say Jekyll and Hyde. Well, James would have been right, to be honest. It was Dracula.
Yeah, I thought it was. I was sure that was it, yeah.
Right, question 2 for you, Brucey. What Scottish title was given to Prince William and Kate Middleton once they were married? Was it Lord and Lady of Balmoral, Duke and Duchess of Glamis, the Earl and Countess of Strathearn, or the Count and Countess of Linlithgow?
I think it's the third one, Strathearn, I think.
That's
The
my
Earl
neck
and
of the
Countess
woods.
of Strathearn. That would be correct. Well done, Brucey.
Hey.
Right, question 3. St Andrews in Scotland. Sorry, I'll start that one again. St Andrews is Scotland's oldest university. When was it founded? Was it 1413, 1513, 1613, or 1713?
Well, when you asked the question, my instinct was 1513, so I'm going to go with that.
I think it's 1413.
Well, nobody asked James, but again, he is right. So, well done. 1413.
Yeah, you notice how I didn't say anything during his question side. Did you notice that?
Only once you've answered, Brucey. There's no harm. There's no harm if you disagree.
Kept my
You could
mouth
have disagreed
shut.
with many of my answers because I got 4 out of 5. You know.
Right, okay, here we go then. Question 4 for you, Brucey. McCaig's Tower overlooks which Scottish town? Is it Pitlochry, Peterhead, Oban, or Rosyth?
It's open.
It is Oban. Well done. Okay.
I
A wee
that.
granny used to live in Oban, so I used to go Oban.
Ah.
Kent, Oban quite well.
Brilliant.
No, didn't know that. McCaig's Tower, did you say? Is that
Yeah,
what it
very
looks
quite
McCaig's Tower, that's right, yeah. Okay, Brucey, your last question. On which Scottish island did George Orwell write his novel 1984? Was it Iona, Isla, Jura, or Skye?
It's Jura.
Was that your inner voice just coming through?
Yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant. Well done. That was right. Jura was right as well. So at the end of that then, I reckon Jimmy won by 1 point there. It was a 3-4 there, or 4-3.
Sad times.
So well done, James.
Sorry,
My bonus
there's
question,
no
which
need
I'm
to
going to
say
give
by
to you
1
anyway.
point. You just have a winner and a loser, don't you? I mean, there's not like
You do. All right.
just
you
one.
won.
You know.
James won.
Thank you.
James won.
You know.
Here's one though. This is what my bonus question I was going to ask you, and I want to ask you anyway because I think it's a great question. Can either of you translate fits?
Which foot?
What foot fits what foot?
Which foot? Yeah.
Yeah, which foot fits which foot? Brilliant. Well done. I like that. Fit. Right. So that was a quiz. Well done, James. You're walking away with your head held high.
Again.
So why don't we move on now to things we might not have heard about? James, I think you should probably start this one.
Oh, do you know? I was reading. I was in the golf mood this weekend, Si, with the Open being on, and we've got some Scottish greatness for the future. And everyone thinks I'm probably talking about Bob McIntyre, who came 8th in the Open, who did a splendid job, by the way, coming joined 8th, and he had an amazing last 3 rounds. But no, I'm actually talking about the future of golf, the proper future. This is a 12-year-old boy from Edinburgh. His name is Aidan Lawson. Shares the same middle name with me. Might be a relative. You never know. That might be where he gets his golfing prowess. So he's 12 years old, right? And he is the number one golfer in Europe at under 12s. He was playing the Scottish boys amateur in Bruntsfield Links, and he shot an 8 over 2 rounds, playing guys that were 5 years older than him in the amateur. And he is a tip for the future. So watch out for that. He's done amazing, and he is playing some amazing golf. And we'll hopefully hear a lot more about him as he goes through the ranks and through what will it be, under 12s? Geez, he'll be under 16s next, isn't it? Under 14, under 16. He's got a long way to go to stay at the top. But he definitely is showing a lot of promise and playing some fantastic golf. But yeah, I think a shout out is due to that young lad for playing some amazing golf at Bruntsfield Links, which is his home course in Edinburgh. So well done, Aidan.
Great. No, I hadn't heard about that. That's good. Brucey, something you haven't heard about?
You may or may not have seen this week. Something that just made me shake my head in disbelief, really. The Norwegian beach handball team. You heard about them?
Oh, no,
I haven't. No,
beach handball, not beach volleyball, beach handball.
No, not beach volleyball, beach handball. Apparently,
right.
The Norwegian beach handball women's team had refused to wear bikini bottoms whilst they were playing handball, as per the regulations that are currently stipulated for playing beach handball.
So there are regulations about wearing bikini bottoms to play beach handball.
Sadly, I'm afraid to say that in 2021, yes, there are regulations about wearing bikini bottoms in sports, yes, which is just ridiculous.
Men and women?
Well, no, I think it's only the women. So, which is, just kind of
shocking.
And so they refused to, obviously, they decided they weren't going to wear them anymore, and in our match the other day decided to wear shorts instead, and have since subsequently been fined by their association 1,500, I can't remember if it's pounds or euros.
Wow. Their own association?
I don't know if it's their own association.
Or the Handball Association.
The Handball, Beach Handball Association for this breach of the rules.
Well, do you know, interestingly, there was a related story I was reading about. No, actually, I heard it on the news today, or I watched it on the news on the BBC News. And it was a Paralympic athlete that's out in Tokyo. And she was away out to practice, and they went, "Do you think you could wear some more appropriate shorts?" Because they were too small. And one of the officials said to her to put on larger shorts because they were too small. And she says, "I've been running in these for the last 10 years, all of her, Paralympic, Olympic athletic career. They're just normal ladies running shorts. And they are quite small because they need to be streamlined. But, for somebody, one of the officials at the Olympics to actually say that to her, to go and put some proper shorts on, she was just aghast. She didn't know what to say. It was a terrible thing. Why pick on women? None of the men are ever.
I wonder
picked up on that sort of
just
stuff.
to the flip of the coin, whatever is, these girls, I guess, are playing a sport which has regulations like Wimbledon. I mean, if someone turned up with a pair of pink, tracksuit bottoms to play the Wimbledon women's final, they'd probably get a fine as well or something, wouldn't they?
That's true. I suppose you're right, and but part of it should be, and arguably, Wimbledon is guilty of this as well, but arguably it should be that there should be pressure put on the regulators to actually say, why is this still a regulation? It doesn't need to be. It doesn't affect the sport. It doesn't affect the athletes. Why do you feel the need to legislate on it? To make it official. I think that's more the point, isn't it?
And I don't know. I think to fine them is just ridiculous. And
to fine them, exactly.
Yeah, I mean to tell women what they can and can't wear, particularly if it's coming from a kind of male perspective, just I don't know. Just think it's really. I mean, yeah, I suppose yes, there is a kind of uniform, and you have to kind of wear the correct uniform, but they're not. They're not trying to go out and wear, I don't know what, but something offensive or political slogans or anything. They just went, actually, these are a bit revealing, and we'd rather wear shorts. Is that okay? And so they did. Well, and then they got fined for it. It's just absurd, and it's the kind of stuff that you've got to get rid of.
Yeah, most sports have, like you say, some kind of regulation around what you can wear and how you should wear it, and especially at European or Olympic level, because, as you know, my wife, as we've spoken about before, played the Worlds in 2002 and won gold, and they were over there and in the rounds, and the night before they were playing, and they were ironing on sponsors' logos onto their shirts because they had to get new shirts, and they couldn't play unless this sponsor's logo was on the arm of the shirt in a certain location, and otherwise they wouldn't get on the ice. And so there are things like that are specified about uniforms, about what you to wear, but not to do with the length. I mean, there was a team in Canada, a Canadian team that year that she played, that actually played in they were almost like not even hockey skirts, they were like plaid skirts. And they actually curled in these skirts. Most of the women's team just had normal trousers on, but they actually played in plaid skirts. And some of the men's teams, there was a big controversy in the curling one year when the Canadian men's team, they were getting beat at half time, and they came back on and they brought out these old corn brooms to sweep the stones with. Right now, they generally aren't used in international competition. They're not banned. They are now. They weren't at the time, because little fibres and little bits of straw come off these corn brooms and they cause the stones to take the wrong path. So they thought they could get an advantage by actually dirtying up the ice for this, the Scottish team playing against them. And they brought out these corn brooms, and it's been held against them for years for doing, that sort of dirty tricks type, changing the equipment. But yeah, you do get regulations for good reason. But yeah, now that's banned for that very reason. It was shortly at the next year, I think they said, corn brooms aren't allowed. You're not allowed to change. You're actually not allowed to change the brushing. Even if you've got a normal brush, you can't change it during a game now, for that reason. So things like that.
But that's a change in the view of the sport. I mean, this is telling a woman what she can and can't wear, which I just think, yes, you've got to follow the rules of I sort of get that, but just the principle of being fined for going, we feel that the bikini bottoms that have been provided for us are too revealing.
And it's not like they were wearing Bermuda shorts either. I think I saw the article. They're not wearing Bermuda shorts. They're wearing an inch longer than normal shorts, isn't it? It's kind of like that just cover that hip region.
I tell you what they should be wearing, James. Bamboo pants.
Bamboo. Do you know what, everyone? And especially on the beach in the hot weather, Si. That would absolutely revolutionise. Why? Do you know they don't do it for women? They should do bamboo pants for women. I don't know what they only advertise these at men. But do you know what? Everybody would benefit from a pair of bamboo pants. I
think maybe they're closing their business now that you've bought the whole stock.
But I didn't buy all of them. I need to buy some more. They're not. I'll be honest, they're not cheap. I used to buy pants partly based on price. But if you want to pay that little bit more and get these bamboo pants, I'm glad you brought it back up, Si, because I've got a bit more to say about it.
Other pants are available.
They are, but they're not as good.
You may have more to say, but I'm going to move us on. Right, we're going on to Crowdfunder Corner. This week, I have identified a challenge of two gentlemen who it's called the Talisker Whisky Atlantic Challenge.
Sounds like something I can get behind.
In December 2021, there are two gentlemen, a Guy Rigby and David Murray, and they want to set off to row 3,000 miles from La Gomera in the Canary Islands, I think that's right, to Antigua in the Caribbean. and they hope to arrive by February 2022.
Powered by Talisker Whisky.
Well, the sort of
just on the
selling
sauce
point
the whole
of
trip.
the selling point of this challenge is that one of the gentlemen, Guy, has just turned 66. So if he does this, he will be the oldest pair to ever row in any ocean, apparently.
Oh, wow.
They're trying to raise money, obviously, to get it going. To be fair, they're doing pretty well. I mean, they're trying to raise £250,000 to fund the sort of challenge, and they're sitting at the moment at £87,000.
They need 250 to even start the challenge.
Well, I think 250,000 is their target, so I guess they need that to fund it. But they've got 87,000 pledged already. So. Yeah, they're going to do 3,000 miles across the Atlantic Ocean. So,
is it a crowdfunder or a Just Giving? Is it a?
It's a crowdfunder.
So what do you get for your? Because normally they have you get something back. I just wondered if there was if I give them £100, what am I getting for that? Is it just a gift, or Jimmy? Am I getting an oar?
Yeah.
I get a bottle of Talisker or something.
You never know. I mean, funnily enough, they don't actually state what you'll get for your support on their page, whether it's just not working properly or not. I wonder if I hit that button. It might tell me.
You see, I think Crowdfunder, that's where I think it's different to Just Giving and other things, is that you are actually buying into the business as kind of like a shareholder, or you're buying into, the idea or the concept. When we spoke last week about that coffee shop and how you were almost buying your coffee in advance, and they would, once they got through the pandemic and it opened up again, they would know, you could go to the shop and then actually they would give you the coffee in kind for the donation or whatever, or give you the a cup or whatever else that they were going to get you. So normally you do get something for this.
Yeah, I mean, I clicked on the button. It didn't tell me what I was going to get, but I have actually donated £67, including gift aid. So that's my fault.
Well, you're helping them.
What a generous man you are,
Simon. You're a very generous guy. That's what happens when you click the wrong buttons live on air.
Good luck, Guy and David, on that.
So I'll be swimming after them for his 60 quid.
Mm-hmm. What am I getting for my money?
What am I getting?
A week in Barbados.
Excuse me.
Antigua. Whatever it was.
Good. Anyway, that's that. So good luck to them, I guess. They're going to set off in December this year, and hopefully they'll make it by February next year. Great. Okay, Jimmy D, it's that time of the week. It's Whisky of the Week. Do you have something for us this week?
Have I got a beauty? Now, I generally buy whiskies from distilleries, all right? Or distillery whiskies like Aberlours, like Singletons, like all these, Glenfiddich. They actually have distilleries. They make their own whiskey, and then you buy it, right? But there are a few out there, and this isn't the only one, which is actually bottlers. So I'm holding up to the camera for our YouTube viewers a bottler called Carnmore, and it is they basically these bottlers, they go around distilleries and they will pick up odds and ends of barrels. So sometimes people buy barrels, but then it ends up 8 years later, actually, do you know what, I don't want it, I'll just sell it back to the distillery. But in the meantime, the distillery is keeping it for 12 years and they don't actually have an 8 year of that whiskey, and so they end up with these odds and ends barrels round and about different distilleries, and these guys are obviously they know all the different people, and they've got on the books what might be available and where, and so they go around buying the larger hogshead barrels and start bottling them. So there was one came into the local whiskey shop in Perth, and I decided to. They had a little sample, and I gave it a go, because sometimes you never know what these are going to be like, and it's a bit difficult to just on spec. You never really know what it's going to be, because it's not a standard retail whiskey. You never know what it's going to be like. But they had these little tasting bottles, and I tasted this, and it was so different to anything I'd had that I decided to get one. And this one is actually from Glenturret, which is actually down the road. It's in Perthshire. Glenturret Distillery, and it's an 8-year-old whiskey, and there's only 837 bottles from 2 casks of this one. And so they do say it's sort of a strictly limited. I mean, it's not like you would ever get this whiskey again. So you couldn't go out and buy it. Once I'm done, it's done. And it's not a cask strength whiskey. It is actually a normal 47.5% whiskey. If it's cask strength, it has to be over 50%. You're normally around 53, 55%. So it's a normal percentage strength whiskey. But it is so different from a normal Pershire sort of Highland whiskey because of the cask it was in. And I just I gave it a little taste earlier on, but I'm going to do it again because it is just so there's just a lot more complexity when you smell it. And and again, I'll do it for the YouTube viewers. If you see how light that whiskey is,
you can even see Jimmy, through the bottle. It's almost like white wine.
There's no colour,
isn't it?
There's no colour to it. It's like a Chardonnay, isn't it? It's like a really light colour, and because it's taken a very different colour off the cask it was in, and whether it was a new cask and it wasn't a sherry cask. But when you smell it, there's so much smoke on the whiskey. Normally, you don't get a smoky whiskey when you're in Perthshire. You have to go kind of out. The peat smoky whiskies are normally on the west coast and out in the islands. But this one, with it being from Glenturret and being so different, I thought, it's something that I can actually, you can give side by side and go, this is a Glenturret whiskey, and this is also a Glenturret whiskey. So you can't really say you don't like one, and actually, you don't like that. You've got to, you can't say I don't like Glenturret, because you can get completely different whiskies from the same distillery sometimes. And I bought it just so you could actually have that. I could have that difference, but when you taste it,
I guess the trouble with this is that there's no point growing to like it too much, because once it's gone,
you can't buy it again. Yeah, It's going to become rare. And sometimes these are bought as if they are really good, they can be bought and invested in. But to be fair, you'd have to buy a lot of bottles to make any money out of it. So it's not really an investment. I don't invest in whiskey. There's just no point. It wouldn't last in my house. So I'm going to do a little bit of ASMR testing now.
Right, lip licking warning for everyone. Just
and it's like you're in a bothy in the Highlands, and you've got a peat fire on the go, and you've just taken a sniff in, and that's
I'm just
smoky,
imagining you there with your bamboo
smell.
pants on in front of the fire.
In front of the fire, next to a loch.
Sipping.
Next to a loch, about to jump in once I've had one whiskey too many.
I tell you, with the bamboo pants in danger of setting fire to themselves if you get too close to a fire. Is that a danger?
I don't think so. Sorry,
okay.
I think they're not any more flammable than normal pants. I don't think. Now, okay. I coughed a little bit there because this is quite a strong whiskey going down. And remember, some whiskies, I say you kind of don't feel it go down. This one, you can kind of feel that kind of burn at the back of the throat. You go, that tastes like a whiskey. So that's kind of the difference of sort of taste you get. If you have a normal Glenturret, you don't normally get that down the back of the throat. So anyway, I just thought I'd highlight the fact that you do get people who bottle whiskey that don't actually distill it. And so Cairnmore was one, and you can pick these up randomly in some of the distributors around whiskey shops, and you can see these, and people wouldn't normally pick that out, but you've got to read the label, closely and see that it's a Glenturret whiskey and it's only one of so many casks, and these can be quite unique. And the last thing I'll say in it, because I appreciate I've been talking a while about it now, Malt, the Scotch Malt Whisky Society. Anybody been in there?
No, I haven't.
So they're in Edinburgh and in London. They've got two places in Edinburgh, London. I think they've got one place in Aberdeen. And you can join this for, I think it's about £50 a year, and it's a membership, and you can actually go to their place. It's on Queen Street in Edinburgh, and you go in, and it's also down the bottom of Leith, I think, is the other place. You go in, and they have just shelves and shelves of whiskey, right? And you go, great, and you look up, and there's nothing you'd recognise, not one, because they name them all themselves. They basically do what Cairnmore do. And they buy a barrel of whiskey and they bottle it. And then they have a panel of people. I want to get this job, by the way, if I can get a job at the Scotch Malt. They get a panel of people and they all get to sample the whiskey. And they all talk about it and say what they think it's like. And they go, okay, we think it's smelly socks and frogs. That's what I get too. Okay, so then all the bottles are called Smelly Socks and Frogs. And you don't know what this, and you can read on the bottle what distillery it's from, but you've no idea. And it'll just be a random age or a random, hogshead or a sherry cask or an oak, blah, 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 blah. It'll just be random, the ones that they pick up, and then they give them whatever name they want and stick them on the shelf behind the bar. And you just have to give it a go. And it's a great way to try different whiskies. For £50 a year, you can go in, and they do great food, by the way, as well. They're a really good restaurant. But it's a nice way of trying different whiskies without knowing what it is. And just for this, if you start to appreciate it a bit more once you get down that corridor. But anyway, it's a similar sort of theme. That's why I thought I'd mention it.
I think people would just prefer to listen to you drinking on our podcast. Why spend £50 a year? Just have it listened free.
It's true. You could just. I'm wondering what podcast episode we're going to get to before I actually don't have any more whiskey left. I'm hoping it's not soon.
I'm sure
you do one live from the Whisky Society.
That's right, yeah.
Just try different ones every week live from the Malt Whisky Society.
I genuinely didn't know that they did that, so I have to say that is brand new information to me, that they did bottles from the sort of spare casks, if you like. I'd never
you can't go in, and you'll never get the same one twice. So if you like one, you better go back quick. And also, you can't go in and just ask for a Balvenie or a Glenfiddich. They go, sorry, don't do that. Give you something from the Glenfiddich distillery, or they'll give you something from the Balvenie distillery, but it won't be a Balvenie double wood. What you get in the shops.
Every day's a school day.
All right, thank you, James. Brilliant. Before we go on to our sort of Scottish word of the week, I think probably just highlight our socials. If anyone would like to get in touch or follow us, you've obviously got the podcasts, and if you do listen to it on iTunes, please do give us a review. You've got the videos going up on YouTube. They're a bit delayed at the moment for technical issues, but they are going up, so please do watch them there if you want. On Twitter, we're Boorach1, and our email, if you want to email us, is theboorach@hotmail.co.uk. So please do follow us all over the place. Right, Brucey, you are our word of the week, is that right?
Apparently so. Have you remembered the Twitter password yet, Si, so we can actually post, or are we still waiting on the reset on that?
Shh! Don't air our dirty laundry on air. Come on.
You've talked about laundry all night. What are you talking about?
It's not dirty. It's very clean.
No, is the short answer. I can do it, but I can't. You guys can't yet, but we'll sort that one out.
We'll make it okay. Yes, we'll Scottish word. I've got one.
Right, Scottish word. Go for it.
Okay, so the Scottish word this week it actually has two different pronunciations. So I'll give you both, and you can see what you think. So the word is either a gabarosé or a gaby rosé. Gaby rosé, gabarosé. You can pronounce it either way.
Okay, gabarosé. Okay.
So your three options for a gaby rosé are: is it a child's word for a kiss? Okay. Is it at the front end of a house? So, like gaby rosé, gable end, but not the gable end.
Yeah, I was thinking gable end. I was thinking, yeah, that's a winner so far.
Or is it a sort of kids word, Scots kids word for a dandelion?
Oh, there's no obvious red herrings in there, Si.
Well,
I think it could be the dandelion now.
I know. I don't know. I think the gable end might be on red herring. But I don't know. I'm
going to go dandelion.
You're going dandelion
because of the rosy bit. It's like a rose, isn't it? With the gabarosé, or a gabarosé. Yeah, I think it's a dandelion.
Actually, now I'm thinking about it. I don't know. Gabarosé. It sounds quite a harsh word for a kiss, doesn't it? Gabarosé. Doesn't sound very.
It's also quite long.
All right, I don't know. I'll go for the
kiss.
Having said all that, then I'll go for the gable end of a house, then, or the end of a house.
Bugger.
I don't think it's a kiss.
It better not be that. I went dandelion.
You went dandelion, and I can exclusively
where were you?
you're both wrong. It's the child's word for a kiss.
Ah, no way!
Okay.
Well, that is very well done on your options there. Very well done on your
Yeah.
options.
Minutes.
Yeah,
Oh, Rosie.
minutes on that.
Maybe
That's
Rosie.
good.
Yeah,
There we go.
and when you look at the dictionary of the Scots language, which is where I got it from, they sort of say there's two different ways of pronouncing it. They reckon it's more probably with a gaby as opposed to gaba, Rosie. So there you go.
Okay. Ah, good. Well, that's good. You got us both stumped there. Well done.
Well done, Brucey.
Right.
A Gabarosi or a Gabarosi.
Well, gents, we're back to the end of our podcast. I think we've done everything. We've covered it all. We're under an hour, which is
Wow.
always good.
It's not like there's nothing left to talk about, though, surely, because we've always got something to say about something
I think
or other.
I think we've spoken about it all.
What about
Thank
my
you for your
pants?
time.
Did I mention my pants?
We've mentioned them.
Sure.
So thank you for bringing them up, James. I'm just not sure I'll sleep properly tonight now, but never mind.
I can show you them.
Let's do that on our OnlyFans page or whatever.
Holy fans, the Burek. No one's going to sign
No.
up for that. If you thought we hadn't had any podcast listeners, wait till we do OnlyFans.
Brilliant. Right, guys.
We're not doing that, though, are we?
We're
We're
going
not
to
doing
slide off. Thanks for your time, boys. Nice to be back with you. Nice to see you again.
Good to have you back, Si.
James,
Aye. Good to be back in the hands of a professional, Simon. That's what I'm saying.
A semblance of order. A semblance of order.
back in the pod.
Although I'd like to see you control Robin Morris. We should get him on here without, as well as one of the four. Try stopping him speaking. He went on for ages. Give us entire life backstory. Jesus, before I could stop him last time.
There's no time left for Jim's side. That was the problem.
that was the problem. Yeah.
It's always a problem. Never enough time
Brilliant.
for Jimmy.
Right, guys. See you next week. We'll do it again. Until then, stay safe. Thanks for listening, and have a good week. And goodbye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.